Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I've submitted copies of my testimony. My name is Joe Cavanaugh. I'm a lawyer. I live in Warwick with my wife. We've raised 9 kids, and we have 15 grandchildren and counting. So I'm pro-life. I'm speaking against this bill, and I would say in summary, it is overbroad, imprecise, and untimely. And to describe it as feeling only a mere codification of Roe v. Wade is inaccurate, in my opinion. I find it interesting, and Lynette, who I've been against many times and I respect greatly the legal acumen, would say to you that with hard work and changed language and some concessions, this could be revised and maybe it would work. So that, to me, is a suggestion that this bill is before you now, that was criticized by a letter that was offensive to somebody because it addressed the flaws in the bill, is a flawed bill. It doesn't codify Roe v. Wade. It goes beyond Roe v. Wade. Interference, informed consent, interferes. Abortion clinic regulations interferes with the woman's right, with this imprecise language. In fact, the Supreme Court decided that, Judge O'Connor said this, that it would be undue burdens or substantial obstacles that a court would look to before preventing the state from imposing regulations. The language interfere is a far cry from what you would want to deal with this. The fetal viability definition. Again, the concession that, well, we're working on that, we'll get it down to. It leaves it up under this bill to the attending physician. Who would that be at an abortion clinic? To decide whether this would be a viable fetus. The Supreme Court has decided, the U.S. Supreme Court, after Roe v. Wade, the determination of fetal viability is tied to whether the fetus, with or without artificial support, will survive outside of the womb. No, our bill says, the bill proposed to you says, it will be determined by the attending physician. And the other danger of this bill is, and I think this is really one that stands out. It determines whether the state can get involved, not when the abortion is performed, but whether the woman decided prior to fetal viability to have an abortion. An extreme case would be in the 9th month, have an abortion because you decided in the first 2 months to have it. Under this language, no one could touch that. No interference whatsoever. That's inadequate. That's not a codification of Roe v. Wade. It's way more extreme than that. It's imprecise. So, and you know, from a practical level, let me address this issue. We live in a different time. I think we could all agree. I guess I would say that nerves are on edge in our country. Not just on this issue, but on a lot of issues. And hopefully our system is going to work and control that. And I think it will. I have faith it will. But I ask myself, and I ask you to ask yourself, why are you doing this now? Because there's a president who's pro-life. Ronald Reagan was pro-life. The Bush presidents were pro-life. Because there's a pro-life precedent, it doesn't mean Roe v. Wade is going to be overturned in the year 2017. Right now, we all know, those who follow it, and I know you do, without Judge Scalia on the court, it's 5-3, and it was that way for a long time. If Judge Gorsuch gets confirmed, and if he's inclined to overrule that 44-year precedent, it would be 5-4. We're in 2017. You're being asked for an extreme bill, I mean this in the right way, in a panic. Let's wait and see what happens. Roe v. Wade is not in jeopardy. People have criticized it. People have challenged it. It's the law of the land so far. The appropriate time to deal with this issue is if and when the makeup of the court is different and there's a case that's moving its way through that court. And then, not only the General Assembly, but all the people in our state will become engaged. It will be, they'll be engaged. They're not engaged in this right now. It's not a big issue right now. I respectfully tell you, it is not a big issue in this state right now. No one's paying. It's because the law of the land is Roe v. Wade. And it's not going to change in June. It's not going to change. We're going to come back here next year. It's going to be the same. So why do you do this now? In kind of the hysteria that's rolling? I suggest to you, no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to leap in with language that's so broad that the advocates are telling you we're going to come up with some other language and it will be good. So if anybody would want to talk about it in any more detail, this, I'd be happy to talk to anyone. I put my telephone number here connected to my testimony. I'd be happy to do it. But as a practical matter, I would say this isn't the time, this isn't the place, and way more people should be engaged before you start changing the language. I answer any